your best friend, your parents, people you've dated in the past. All of these folks may have completely different conscious experiences than you, and neither of you would have any idea. Hi, I'm Sadie. I am a science writer, formerly for the Washington Post and the APA, and I am the author of this book, Do I Know You? A Faceblind Reporter's Journey into the Science of Sight, Memory, and Imagination. After ignoring the topic for more than a century, scientists are now beginning to explore subjective experience using objective methods. Just one example. I have aphantasia, which means that I cannot visualize. But how do we know that I really can't visualize and I'm not just describing something differently than you are? The way scientists have investigated this is that they have looked at images of your brain while you try to visualize, and people who say they can't visualize, their sort of visual areas of their brain are not active when they try to imagine seeing something, whereas the people who say they can see things in their mind's eye have very active visual areas in their brains. In fact, from a neurological level, imagining seeing something looks a lot like actually seeing that specific type of thing. Another technique they've used is pupillary eye dilation, which is where you would look into, if you ask someone who says they can visualize and tell them to imagine looking into a bright light, their pupils constrict as if they're actually looking into that light. Whereas people with aphantasia who can't visualize, our pupils do not respond. And another test that I found very telling is that if you ask people who can visualize to read about something scary, like a shark attack, those folks get sweaty and they actually can measure the difference in their skin conductance as compared to people like me who stay cool and dry no matter what we're reading. And this has made me wonder if maybe when I love reading books, but I do not imagine anything visually. And I suspect that I do not have as much of an emotional response to what I read as a result. Some people have a very clear inner monologue and other people don't. I'm one of those people. And my whole life, I thought when that trope was used in movies and whatnot, it was just sort of a poetic trope. I didn't think that it was actually representative of people's experience. This is also the same with sayings, like people would say, imagine sheep jumping a fence to go to bed. I can think about sheep jumping a fence, but it never really occurred to me to grill anyone about what they really meant by that. And when I started doing research on my book and I discovered other people could visualize, one of those people turned out to be my very best friend, Miriam, she's a hyper visualizer. And so when she imagines those sheep jumping that fence, her world, I mean, it almost gets in the way. It could get in the way of her actually seeing the real world. It's that vivid. And she specifically says she sees little cartoon sheep, possibly from a children's book that she used to read when she was young. So that's the secret message of my book's title. It's called Do I Know You? Because it's about my discovery at the age of 40 that I'm face blind and always have been. And so as a result, I'm constantly not knowing who people are. But it's also about how we don't know ourselves, and we also often don't know other people as well as we think we do. Everyone's experience, their perceptions of the world, and their inner lives are probably a lot different than yours, and you have no idea.